Hello and welcome to New India Junction. I'm Richa Divek, and today we have with us Rashmi Samant, the young woman who made history when she was elected as the first Indian woman president of the Oxford Students' Union on 11th February this year. 2 days later, she was forced to resign. She was accused of being racist, transphobic, and anti Semitic. Her family was dragged into this whole campaign against her that began right after she won the election. Welcome to NIJ, Rashmi.
Thank you for having me, Richa.
All right, so to begin with, can you throw more light on your posts from the past that seem to have triggered this role? And do you think they were so controversial that you were outright cancelled by the ones who were offending you?
Well, I'd like to put it out there for verdict. I don't want to decide for myself if they were, so outright outrageous or, so offensive that I had to be cancelled. So let me explain the three posts. The first one was from 2017 when I visited the Berlin Holocaust Memorial, and the caption was, "This memorial casts a hollow reflection of the atrocities of the past, and reflecting on it gives us the power to live, vouching for a better future." So basically, in the caption, I was trying to condemn the Holocaust and saying that, this memorial is a place where you can, take a reflection, take a step back and think how far we've come and, how far we must go. But at the same time, never forget the sufferings of our ancestors. And my mistake was to make a pun. This memorial casts a hollow reflection, so it's Holocaust, casts a hollow reflection. And hence, I became a Jewish community hating anti Semitic person. There was another post of mine. It was released during the campaign, and it was about celebrating women because it's just been 100 years since women were allowed to take formal degrees from Oxford, and but the university has been around for 900 odd years now, and it's appalling that women were only allowed in only like 100 years ago. So it was like about how women have suffered, are still suffering around the world, and how we have it hard, and it was all about girl love. And in the end, I said, celebrating all the amazing women, trans women, and the men who support us. That was my statement. And the current trans etiquette dictates that you cannot say women and trans women, you must say women, because saying women and trans women is offensive. It is a constantly changing etiquette. Until last year, there was an effort to be from the trans community to be addressed separately, and a lot of changes have come for the better, but it was something I did not know at the time that I made the post, and it was not. There was no malicious intent from my side, and I just wanted to celebrate them and be over inclusive in my post. That made me transphobic. And there was another post of mine. It was a picture of mine in Malaysia at a Buddhist temple. And I was standing with a smile on my face and with my hands up in a namaste. And the caption was Ching Chang. Uh, Currently, Ching Chong is a very bad racial slur that's being used, widely in the West against the Mandarin-speaking community, and it's something terrible. But at that point, when I put up that picture, Ching Chang literally translates to eat that plant on Google Translate, and it's something stupid, and it was a joke of the trip and stuff like that about how there's no vegetarian food in Malaysia and so on and so forth. So I feel that fellow Indian vegetarians can relate how difficult it can be to find pure vegetarian food when you're traveling. So it was one of those things, and it was my personal account and one of those things, and it was in no way a disrespect to the Chinese community. And I did not know better then, and I do now, but I wouldn't have in any way meant it that way. So these were the three accusations which made me anti Semitic, racist, and transphobic. I do not want to comment on whether these posts truly make me these things, but I would like to make my case and say that I had no malicious intent, and it's up for the people to decide, I guess.
To explain your side of the story, you also issued an apology. Then,
Yeah.
how did this anger suddenly transform into hatred for your whole identity, for your nationality, for your roots?
I don't know, to be very honest. I don't know what the problem was. The bullying started right after I won the election, and I started getting a lot of hate from anonymous accounts. And I thought this is something general, that happens to everybody when they win a relatively high profile election. And this was especially, a little more out there because of, first Indian women. So the entire Indian community got involved and stuff like that. So it was obvious that there was going to be a lot of attention. And, with a lot of attention and a lot of positivity comes the bunch of trolls. And that started just hours after me winning the election. And I was called everything from looking like a black horses. I mean, it's just a bunch of swear words, so I wouldn't want to swear on record. But it was a bunch of swear words being sent to me like hours after winning the election, and it was something I took with my stride. And when these posts were raised, they were raised in a rather aggressive manner. Like, are you going to apologize for this? Are you going to this? Are you going to that? And when I tried explaining my side of things, it did not sit well with the community I was trying to explain to. And they also probably did not know that I was already going through a series of harassment and bullying online from anonymous sources, and that it was continuous, and that it's happening continuously. So people refused to, you know, it was almost a situation where you kind of don't want to that you want to assume the worst in fellow human beings. I felt that everybody was out there to just believe the worst in me. And it just, accelerated to a point that even my apology was not heard, and I was cancelled, basically. I feel like if I wouldn't have apologized and just stepped down, I wouldn't have used the word cancel culture because that would be injustice to say that. But I did apologize. I apologized with all my heart, and I offered to reach out to each affected community, each person affected, and individually apologize to them for any genuine concern they might have had, or any genuine problem they might have had, and explain it to them that this was the situation under which I made the comment, and it was nothing malicious that I meant. But even if you did feel that way because of the obvious perception, I still apologize. And then I resigned, and that's when things started to get worse. I thought this was going to be the end of the saga, and okay, I've resigned. They can look up to a new president who's going to bring in the changes that they want or does conform to their views and ideals. But no, a faculty member who had no business in this decided to get involved. A man almost twice my age and with an academic career, which is as long as my time on earth, literally 22 years. He decided to get involved in this, to stalk me, to harass me, and to make public, media posts about abusing my religion, abusing my region, abusing my parents, abusing the country, and basically going on a Hindu phobic rant on social media. And what appalls me is that the same student community who stood up to kind of censor my poorly constructed captions from the past, we're nowhere in the scenario where I'm being blatantly maligned and blatantly harassed and bullied out there. And it's just a surprise that it just looks like, selective hypocrisy, selective cancellation, just because there is some inherent bias about me.
Are you still getting those hate mails from people, or has this controversy, like,
Yeah, yeah. It's been a Niagara Falls of emails and hateful content that I should probably shut up, and that I should probably deactivate all my social media. I should probably withdraw from my course. I should probably shut up. There have been so many people saying this is going to ruin your career. This is going to make sure that you have no future. We're going to make sure of that. Blah 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 blah. And yeah, there's been out there, and it's incoming, and it's every day, and it's been going on for the past, I think, almost a month now, because this happened last month. So the barrage has been constant, and the barrage has been incoming.
So what we see is that there is this certain section of people who preach tolerance and they preach sensitivity, while they are accusing you of the same and probably practicing the same hate towards you. So is it
Well,
that they are intolerant towards your alternative views that you represent?
Well, what happened in the end was that, but I don't think people individually had such malicious intent because I want to believe the best in people. I'm not the worst. So I would like to believe that they had no intent, but except the faculty because it's out there. I mean, he's put it out there and he's been very vocal that he's had an issue with my identity, with my religion, and with the kind of person I am and my background. But I wouldn't want to brand the student community any less. I wouldn't want to brand them of anything because I don't have any specific like, even if it looks like it, I don't have any specific proof or a list of things to make sure that, I mean, to establish that they did it or they said it out of spite. But the professor, yes, I mean the faculty, the academic, yeah, yes, he had a big problem with the fact that I was Indian and that I was from Karnataka, proudly so, proud Kannadiga any day, and that I came from Udupi, and that my parents are Hindus, and that I am a Hindu, and that would make me a Sanatani president. And I think Sanatan Dharma is a very positive word, but he's attached a very he's attached a taboo to that word, and he's attached a certain level of aggression to the whole scenario by branding me Islamophobic. He's literally, essentially, isolated the entire Muslim community from me by saying that. I mean, I've never in my life hated people of the Muslim community.
So the fact that, like you just mentioned, this particular faculty member. So do you think that this person would have done this in an individual capacity, or the fact that he could be leading a hate campaign?
What I really believe is that he should not be allowed to be a faculty because a member, a person who's shown and who's proved that he's capable of harassing someone, stalking someone, that to a minor, I'm not a minor, I mean a student, such a person shouldn't be allowed to be a teacher because being a teacher is it's just not a sharing of ideas. You have a certain authority and you're in a position of power that gives you that opens up a wide scope for various different kinds of harassment and to take advantage of students and to cause that could lead up to many other crimes. So what I believe is that I don't believe in any speculation as much as I would want to, but what I would like to believe is that such a person should not be allowed to teach. Even if he was condemning other religions, he should not be allowed to teach. It's not just because he's condemning my religion, it's because he is capable of going after a 22-year-old girl who's a student at his university. That displays the fact that he is not capable of being a teacher and that he should not be allowed to be a teacher.
Can you consider that this assault on you was not a case of individual hate, but probably on your whole, on your Indianness as a whole? Was this assault on your Indianness as a whole? Because, like the fact that the country, the global platform is India is growing, and it is out there emerging as a leader. So the fact that if there is somebody who's proud of their roots or is proud of their identity, if if you can easily bring down such a person, then it is automatically like an assault on the nation as a whole. So do you see this, or do you see this as an individual case?
Well, there have been a lot of cases before me, and it was not so covered by the media. Maybe because of the university or something. This somehow blew out of proportions because a lot of things came together. The university being top tier, the incidents being so high profile, and the entire chain of incidents being so distinct. But a lot of incidents have come to my attention that such things have happened where people were targeted based on their identity or based on their religion, and that there's a negative connotation around surrounding people who belong to Hinduism. I don't know them personally, and I haven't, been in their shoes. But if the pattern and the incidents that are being discussed currently are true, then I would like to say that yes, this is a growing problem. That there is a lot of intolerance towards the religion, towards culture that India kind of symbolizes in today's day and age. So maybe, yeah, maybe I don't want to put up a sure footing because every incident and every it's a chain of incidents. It's never an isolated incident. And the human psychology, it operates on so many different levels. So there are inherent biases, then there are incidents that fuel it, then there's the exposure, what they've been exposed to growing up, then there's people's backgrounds. So the decision making process is very complex for us to attribute it to a single cause. So,
Uh,
but
are you
could be a thing.
the fact that there has been this entire smear campaign going on against you? Uh, what do you want to do, like, in a couple of days or weeks from now with this controversy? Because the thing is that you're still receiving that hate, but there are very people who are preaching this sort of hate against you and against your culture and all of that. But this is a problem that needs someone to address it. And in this at this moment, you probably are the best person to do it, given that you are the one at the receiving end of this. So do you have anything in mind? What do you want to do about it? How do you want to go about
Well, the anonymous bullies are going to meet their end sooner or later, and there's very little that we can do out there because the way our media works, the social media works, there's no way of catching them and holding them accountable for what they've said. But whereas when it comes to a faculty, the faculty member, I'm going to make sure and I'm going to fight as much as I can to make sure that he is in no power to do it to another Rashmi tomorrow who might win the election and who might have humble beginnings and might be a Hindu or may not, or might conform to a minority religion or a religion which has been persecuted for years. So I want to make sure that he is in no position to make those repeat those actions on another Rashmi. So I'm going to give it a fight, but like I said, maybe treat them with a little more kindness than they have treated me because by the end of the day, that's all that matters. I think COVID pandemic has taught us a lot about things that really matter in life and that we really need to uphold. So I don't want this to be a case of redemption where I just go on like pointing people and dragging them down and tagging them and making sure that my supporters go and attack them. No, that's not going to happen. It actually started happening on one of my posters, and I just decided to take it down because I do not want people supporting me or against me to show any signs of aggression because by the end of the day, they're kind of using me to prove each other wrong. And that is wrong on so many different levels. And it is just undue aggression and a complete waste of both of their times. And I do not want to be a contributing factor to that.
it? All right. Okay. So that was great, Rashmi. Thank you so much for joining New India Junction.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.